Rick and Morty is one of the most popular shows on TV right now, but did you know that a lot has changed between season 1 and the current season? In this video, we will talk about some of the biggest changes that have taken place and how they've affected the show. First up, Rick's friends. Back in season 1, Rick maintained an active social circle, but as the series progressed, he spent less and less time with his friends. Rick is currently working to rehabilitate Phoenix Person, his best buddy Bird Person, before he was eventually slain and reincarnated as Phoenix Person. During the first season of Rick and Morty, Rick organized a party with Morty and Summer while Jerry and Beth were away on vacation. Rick asked some friends, including Gearhead, Squanchy, and Abradolf Linkler, to attend the party. Next up, Beth's veterinarian career. Beth had a successful and profitable career as a veterinarian in the first season of the Rick and Morty animated series. She devoted her life to protecting animals, and many of the plot points in the stories took place at the animal hospital where she worked with horses. However, she has not been back to see that equine hospital for a considerable time. These days, Beth's narratives center on her tense relationship with Jerry or her convoluted on and off affair with her space warrior persona. Both of these relationships are at the center of her drama. Now for the family dog. The first episode of season 1, titled Lawnmower Dog, focuses on the dog Snuffles, who lives with the Smith family and is mistreated by everyone except Morty. In the episode, Rick inserts a device into Snuffles that gives the dog the ability to communicate with Jerry so that Jerry can better understand what Snuffles requires. Snuffles finally constructs a mechanized suit for himself, gathers an army of other dogs, and takes control of the Earth using this gadget. At the end of the episode, he transports this army to a different planet, and there has been no further mention of them since then. And now, Mr. Meeseeks. In the episode Meeseeks and Destroy from the first season of The Walking Dead, Rick gives his family a Meeseeks box. This box can make blue humanoid creatures called Mr. Meeseeks, and they are dedicated to helping their user solve whatever problem they may have. Summer, Beth, and Jerry all provide their Mr. Meeseeks with a particular objective to work for. Summer and Beth successfully achieve their abstract, seemingly impossible goals, which are, respectively, to become more popular and find true happiness and fulfillment. On the other hand, Jerry fails miserably to achieve his seemingly simple goal, which is to reduce his golf score by 2 strokes, which drives his Mr. Meeseeks to madness. Next is Evil Morty. As far back as the first season, the so-called Evil Morty was hinted at as the show's primary antagonist. This person would deviate from the typical Morty behavior and defeat Rick. In season 6, Rick does not take Evil Morty's threat seriously because he does not know where he is and his whereabouts are unclear. After Evil Morty tried to take away Rick's ability to move between dimensions in the first episode of season 6, Rick remarked that Evil Morty behaved like someone who makes a big deal out of quitting social media. Rick was referring to Evil Morty's behavior. Next up, Jerry's advertising career. However, throughout the show's first season, Jerry Smith had a successful profession as an advertising executive, even though he is typically portrayed as a lazy slacker. Although his most efficient pitch, Hungry for Apples, was delivered in an alien simulation, he was ultimately let go from his position as a sales representative. After that, he is portrayed as unemployed, and the show emphasizes that Jerry has lost his position as one of the primary breadwinners for the family. Next, Summer doesn't go on any adventures. In the most recent seasons of Rick and Morty, Summer, along with Beth and Jerry, has been on an equal number of adventures across dimensions with Rick as Morty has been. However, during the show's first season, Summer was only sometimes involved in high-concept sci-fi antics. In the first season, Summer is only chosen for one of Rick's adventures, and it's not because she's his first pick. They travel to a faraway planet hoping to find better parents for the half-alien love child Morty, fathered with a Gazerbasorpian robot. Morty is the biological father of the child. Next, the Council of Ricks. The fans of Rick and Morty were given a spoof of Marvel Comics' Interdimensional Council of Reeds in the form of the Transdimensional Council of Ricks during the animated series' first season. This council comprises different iterations of Rick Sanchez rather than other versions of Mr. Fantastic. In the end, Rick brings down the council and ends the lives of most of its members in the Rickshank Redemption. Nevertheless, some alternative Ricks are still worldwide, such as the nefarious Rick Prime. Finally, Interdimensional Cable. In the first season's episode titled Ricksty Minutes, Rick, disgusted by the mundane reality programming on Earth, installs a cable box capable of picking up TV transmissions from around the multiverse. The authors came back to this fan-favorite idea when they wrote the follow-up to this anthology-style episode in season 2. Still, since then, the interdimensional dimensional wire has only been seen as an Easter egg here and there. Rick breaches the fourth wall at the beginning of the third season's episode titled Morty's Mind Blowers, when he reminds Morty of all the faults he has forgotten and says to the viewer, "We'll be doing this instead of interdimensional cable." Next, in other related news, Rick and Morty Season 6 brings back fan-favorite villain. Rick and Morty have already brought back a lot of prominent characters in the show's current season. With a sneak peek at the season's upcoming major episode, the program has given us our first hint at the return of the next major antagonist. Season 6, which has been on hiatus for a considerable time, has resumed production and will air the remaining episodes as planned. This season has continued the pattern set by the previous ones of adhering more closely to the overall serialization of the tale canon by including allusions to the past and telling stories that refer to the previous seasons. This will also be included in the upcoming episode when it airs. This season of Rick and Morty has been very interesting to watch since, unlike previous seasons, they appear to embrace their history rather than trying to escape it. As the 8th episode of Season 6 of Rick and Morty begins to take on life, viewers may expect a connection to be made to one of the most memorable episodes from Season 6. It has been confirmed that Rick Sanchez's adversary, Mr. Nimbus, will return to the show. Next, Rick and Morty surprises fans with content warning before new Season 6 episode. It's possible that during the show's 6 seasons, Rick and Morty have covered a wide range of crazy adult-oriented objects. However, the most recent episode caught viewers off guard when it started with a warning regarding the specific issue it had chosen to discuss, which was suicide. This episode was the heaviest one in the season, as well as the series. His more negative feelings have been previously explored on Rick and Morty, and the episodes that did so are among the most iconic in the program's history. On the other hand, the most recent episode of Season 6 elevated this concept to a new level by having Rick react to the more profound feelings of another character. Because it was an episode that dealt with some seriously difficult topics that Season 6 had never before addressed, the beginning of Episode 8 began with a warning to viewers who chose to steer clear of media that examines elements of suicide and more serious dialogues. This warning was given because it was an episode that dealt with some topics that Season 6 had never addressed. The next episode had some emotionally wrenching scenes and dialogue, including depictions of suicide that viewers may find upsetting. As a result, Rick and Morty and Adult Swim issued numerous warnings to their audience. Finally, Rick and Morty just debuted Season 6's heaviest episode yet. The 6th season of Rick and Morty is currently in its final 3 episodes, and the most recent episode of the series surely stunned fans with a deep dive into Rick Sanchez. Rick and Morty will return for the 7th season in 2019. The start of the 6th season was very different from the start of previous seasons. Not only did it promise that there would be more ties to the overall continuity of the series, but it also allowed fans to see a new look into Rick as a person in the wake of all of the revelations that occurred in the 5th season. As the 7th episode descended into chaos, fans had yet to decide what to anticipate from the next 8 episodes. Even though episode 7 of the season deviated from the conventional pattern that had been established for the rest of the season, it nevertheless managed to maintain continuity by bringing back several characters who had been absent for a considerable time. This is continued in episode 8, in which Rick reaches out to an additional returning fan favorite figure for some assistance in figuring out certain things about himself. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. And don't forget to leave a comment below letting us know what you think. We love hearing from you. See you next time!